John's book on Japa has those keys, and I've explained. I have a question out there, and you can be muted or what, but we're going to get some answers. How many of you have read or are reading the Japa Reform Notebook? I mean the Japa book by John.
It's a great
I
book.
never.
Yeah, reading it.
No, Prabhu.
Okay. Is anyone reading Living Names or have read Living Names by Satchidananda Swami?
No.
No, Prabhu.
No,
Mm.
Prabhu.
Okay. Has anyone read the compilation on the holy name, a book that Prabhupada has? They've put together all these different quotes that Prabhupada said on the holy name.
Yes.
I
Okay.
read that once. Yeah.
Yeah.
And has anyone read Japa Reform Notebook?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is good. You know, I know why I'm feeling so desperate because when I start chanting, sometimes it's really good, but a lot of times it's not so good, you know? And when it's not so good, I'm thinking, Hari, you know, you the offenses have just caught up with you and your bad habits and things like that. So you're not going to be able to taste the holy name. But I go on and I keep chanting and I keep chanting. And sometimes my mind just sneaks in and gets crazy. So I keep chanting and I bring it back. And then at other times, in my frustration, and I'm going to use the frustration, in my frustration, I start to pray. Yeah, I mean, I could pray because I was smart or because I had love for Krishna. But in frustration, sometimes I notice that I'm speaking to Krishna. And last night, I realized I was chanting on my beads, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when I said Hare Krishna, I heard myself calling Krishna, not just saying the name. I could hear I was called Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I thought, oh Krishna, Krishna, I hear myself calling you. And there's a reciprocation because then I know I was saying it because I'm calling you, but then I hear your name as I'm calling you. And because I hear your name, I'm conscious, I'm aware of you. I'm aware that I need you. Oh, thank you for letting me hear you, Krishna. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to call your name. So I continue to call Krishna's name. And at a certain point, I realized that I was calling Krishna because I felt an emptiness. I need Krishna. And my Guru Maharaj told me, you chant, call Krishna. I think of Prabhupada a lot. I said, Prabhupada told us, chant Hare Krishna. I said, Prabhupada, sometimes it's so hard. Prabhupada said, what is the difficulty? As if, what is your problem? He's not even taking questions. What is the difficulty? So I just kept chanting, grateful to hear Krishna's name, grateful that I'm able to call out to him like that. And in that moment, I'm aware that I'm calling the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I want that relationship back. And so the prayers automatically begin to form. Oh, Krishna, Krishna, I don't know how. Please, please, I'm sorry. I know I abandoned you. Please, I know that every day I forget you, but I'm trying to surrender unto you. I want to be your sincere, serious servant. Please, please engage me. Please use me, Krishna. And it's personal. I mean, it's as personal as anything that I've ever encountered. And it's all by Krishna's grace. Because of his mercy, I get to call his name. I get to remember him. And then because we aren't robots, and I do so much robotic chanting that we begin to chant with feeling. We're invested in the relationship. We want to know him further. And I think, oh, I love hearing your voice, Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita. It's so nice the way you change mood to mood. Sometimes you're just sitting there letting Arjuna speak, you know, and then it says smiling all the while. You know, Krishna spoke the following words. He said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. Now he's bothering Arjuna. He knows Arjuna is not feeling that good right now. He can see he's becoming a little mentally agitated. He says, just look at everybody who's assembled, ready to fight. Doesn't say much. Then after Arjuna finally begins to break down, Krishna starts noticing his symptoms. Once Arjuna starts to surrender and ask for shelter from Krishna, Krishna decides to chastise him, telling him you shouldn't oppose yourself as a learned man when actually it's obvious from your actions that you're not so learned. But then they're glorifying Krishna in the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's another voice. And every now and then you get Krishna comes in. So in this way, there's so much glorification of Krishna, Krishna speaking. Krishna is his name, you know. But the one thing that I find that is really, really nice in this endeavor is not just that I remember Krishna, but then I remember Krishna as please let me serve you. That please let me serve you really it denotes the relationship. The relationship is one of service. And if Krishna is allowing me to serve him, already I'm back connected. You see, because of this broken relationship, my big opportunity is to reconnect with Krishna through Nam Prabhu. And I think, whoa, I'm actually trying to serve you, but I'm calling your name. So to the extent that we remember that we're trying to serve the holy name, we want to serve Krishna, then the relationship is already there because we're consciously aware that he's our master and we're his servant. But it doesn't end in a formal relationship. That's the uniqueness about Krishna. But now I'm thinking about something else. If if we're not reading these other books, then when you meet me on Saturday, I'm just reading things or saying things, and maybe it's of some importance, but how can you really go deep into a situation if you don't really find out about the object of your affection? And I know that you're attending classes on Bhagavatam, and you have your savior. But to know him is to love him. So there's so much glorification about Nam Prabhu. And the big problem for us is that we commit offenses and he accepts them. And there's those 10 primary offenses. What to speak of the fact that there's a process that we need to get connected with. According to Rupa Goswami, we just don't want to have some beginner's faith. We want to actually get to the point where we're loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Nam Prabhu can deliver that. He can enable us to be in that loving relationship. But there are some steps that we're going to have to take. And one of the important steps is the first important step, just chant Hare Krishna. I hear the keys coming back. And now that we're going to chant, we know that we're chanting one Maha Mantra at a time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And as I chant this, I'm asking Krishna, I want to stay conscious that I need to be engaged in his service. I want to be aware that there's that little metal, heavy metal chain around my neck, that I somehow got into a relationship with Maya. And she says, you belong to me. And I've been acting like that. I've been in this long relationship with Maya. But Krishna says, no, you belong to me. If you take shelter of me, everything else will go away. But how much do I want to take shelter of Krishna? Am I trying to take shelter of Krishna for 2.5 hours, or do I really want to take shelter of Krishna? So here are the questions. Do I really want to become a pure servant of God? What does that look like? Am I embarrassed? Do I think that it's not possible for me? But Prabhupada said we should all become pure lovers of God. What does that mean? You know? So if we take the gifts, if we become receivers and not achievers, I got first initiation. I'm on my way to second. I've memorized this many slokas. I know how to dress the deities nicely. No, we're not achievers. We're receivers. The Lord is using me in such a way that my natural tendency is to just think about myself, my false conception of self. I'm so covered. And the material nature is so closely woven in the jiva and the material elements. We're so closely um, together, compact together, that we think that we're products of material nature when we know differently. So that that clarity needs to come. We have to come from start on some platform of stability, a platform where we know, okay, whatever I'm not, this is what I am. So, in other words, what I am is I'm trying to become a servant of Krishna. I'm trying to reestablish the relationship. It's going to go through Nam Prabhu. I'm committed. I'm going to try. That means we want to reform our old bad habits. That means when there's information or when there's an invitation to come closer, to go deeper, I'm going to make every endeavor to do this. These are all signs of sincerity, or at least awareness that I need to change my pathetic situation. So, in saying all that, I realized I need to change my pathetic situation. So, I went back to a very old book that I used to read decades ago. And it was done by my Guru Maharaj, Satrup Das Goswami. And it says that this book was done in 1982. It's called the Japa Reform Notebook. Satrup Maharaj took it very serious that a young bhakta complained about his japa. So he began to try to be a good example and make his japa better. And the outcome of that was this book called Japa Reform Notebook. I find that this is a very exciting endeavor for me because I I have a relationship with Satrup Das Goswami, but I also know that through this book being so old, why go back to a book from the early 80s? But all the things that I find that excite me, that help me in Boy John's book, Japa, and in the living names, the broken names. I love the expressions and the way Satchidananda Swami has taken so many heavy truths and he just one after another he keeps putting them together. So you can see that Nam Prabhu is there. You can see what you're doing wrong. You can see that there's so much awaiting us if we would take to this process nicely. So I love finding that. So when I go through the Japa Reform Notebook, I hear the personal endeavors of a devotee chanting Hare Krishna and committing himself to this process. In other words, I can empathize because that's who I am. I'm a devotee trying to commit myself to the process. And I just would like to read some of these things to you because I think that you'll find that the process is so nice that the side effects or the byproducts of just endeavoring to improve our japa, it enriches our spiritual life, completely enriches our life. So I'm going to read some today. I said I wasn't going to read to you a bunch anymore, but in order to set a premise of us going back to the Japa Reform Notebook, I have to read some. Okay. Uh, it says, at 26 Second Avenue in 1966, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, would personally lead us in kirtan as well as japa. After morning kirtan, just before his lecture, he would order, chant one round. Then he would finger his japa beads and chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the assembled devotees seated on the floor would chant aloud their individual japa. I used to both chant and finger the beads intently. One time, absorbed in this chanting and fingering the beads intently, I looked up at Srila Prabhupada and was surprised to find him looking right at me with great concern. It seemed that he saw me, although a most fallen wretch, struggling intently to chant, and this caused him great compassion and concern. It seemed as if even he was awed at the mercy of the holy name. I also remember my first chanting of japa in my apartment around the corner from the temple. Fingering the beads and passing them through my hands gave me a sensation of opulence and luxury. I felt like an ancient sadhu. I recall trying to chant clearly and intently. Over the years, however, my japa became less distinct. More and more, my attention would wander. I began to think of other devotional duties and I had to perform during the day. I neglected to carefully pronounce each word. Sometimes I would attempt to reform the quality of my 16 rounds, but eventually the bad habits of unclear pronunciation and wandering attention would creep back in. Although I would preach to other devotees, it is an offense to be inattentive while chanting Hare Krishna. I would repeatedly commit the offense myself. How many other offenses I committed due to the offense against the holy name, Nam Aparad, I cannot say. How much I slowed down my devotional growth, I do not know, but certainly it was not auspicious. But then I received anew the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna in the form of a God brother's instruction on japa. I became determined to reform, to chant my japa, pronouncing each word and syllable. My japa improved immediately. I then understood that chanting was most important and could not be neglected. I felt I was learning a crucial, confidential secret. Although Srila Prabhupada is constantly repeating it, chanting 16 rounds and avoid the offenses in chanting, it is a practice. It takes practice. Whatever you practice, the body can learn to do. Chant, chant, chant. Most difficult is controlling the mind, but the chanting itself is intended to control the mind. So you must practice until you become expert, until you are perfectly pronouncing the holy names and controlling the mind. Maintain a fighting spirit. The mind always wanders. The senses always tend to drowse in the early morning hours. Therefore, good japa is a matter of successfully combating these things. like the example of steering a car. Keeping control means keeping from going out of control. It is natural that the car heads off the road. You can expect difficulty after many years of offensive chanting. As Sri Krishna says, the mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will be the greatest enemy. Bhagavad Gita 6:5-6. As for controlling the mind while chanting japa, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by constant practice and detachment. Bhagavad Gita 6:34. Wherever the mind goes, due to its restless, flickering nature, bring it back under the control of the higher self. You can only pray to Krishna that, with practice, sleep, and attentiveness will be overcome. So that's just an introduction to where we're going. I like the words, but the main thing for me that I like to share with you is the feeling of empathy. I, I, I can put myself in the position of, of the speaker, and I can remember when I first would chant Hare Krishna on my beats. And I was really a skinny guy. I climb into the top of the closet and I fold my legs and I would sit trying to pronounce those names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I would get an echo at the top of the closet. So I felt surrounded and absorbed. And as I chanted on those beats, I thought how grateful I am that Srila Prabhupada has taught me to chant Hare Krishna. That of all the things I've tried to do in life, this is the most important thing. This makes me feel that my soul is connected with God. This is my chance. Although I didn't think I could, I could become a Hare Krishna. I thought what Srila Prabhupada calls the regulated principles of freedom, I thought they were way out of my realm of achievement, you know? The weekend will come and a young boy goes out dancing. And there's so many obstacles once you go out to go dance. There's no telling what you're going to find. But the point was when I would be in that closet fingering the beads, I felt the connection with Srila Prabhupada. I felt the connection with Krishna. I felt that I had found myself and I was alive. So I don't know. And this book just goes on and it has so many wonderful, wonderful secrets and instructions. It's amazing what's there. But the main thing that you'll realize is that it's a process. And in your process, sometimes you're going to have bad moments, bad days. Sometimes you can have a bad stretch. But Krishna has never abandoned us. Sometimes the bad stretch, just when you're at the point of, oh, just like this class we're having, you know, I came to the point one day in chanting japa that I said, Krishna, I just cannot do this. This is not working for me. I'm chanting so many. Could you could you help? Could you please help me? And then I focused on asking Krishna, could he please help me? And I guess I must have felt really kind of frustrated inside because I could feel myself asking. I wasn't just, it wasn't the words. I knew I needed him. I was done. And just like that, Krishna, oh, you need me. And then he let me experience chanting to him. And he let me see that if you just do this, you just do it. But if you need me, if you want me, if you want a relationship with me, if you want to serve me, you want to know me, then let me know that. Let me know. Don't think, don't guess. Let me know that you want me to help you? Tell me, talk to me. You know, Krishna is so personal. And you know that the process of devotional service with hearing, chanting, remembering, wonder, I mean, you know, I tell you I had a good Christian mother. My mother's always praying and singing something, talking to God. So being around you, you pick it up. And I learned to pray. And in Christian consciousness, I didn't see us so much prayer. We were chanting. But they said, well, that's a prayer. But I took prayer so personal. But chanting is as personal as it's going to get. But you have to invest. We have to invest ourselves in the chanting. That simple expression that Prabhupada explained. Do you really need Krishna? Are you calling Krishna? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, mommy, 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 whining, whining again. Hare Krishna, two, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, three done. No, we have Krishna, we're Radha, Ram, three names. 16 syllables. Bad age, very difficult age. There's one good thing about this age is that if one chants this Hare Krishna mantra once, then he can attain liberation. There's so many benedictions that come from chanting this name. Do we believe it? Is this is something that's written nicely to keep you moving for whatever reason? Is this genuine? Does this work? Will my life be changed? So, however long you've been chanting Hare Krishna, look back in retrospect before you were chanting Hare Krishna. We don't have to go there often. Think of your habits, think of your mindset. How much were you devoted to serving and trying to know, understand, and love the Supreme Lord? Most of us will find that we were so far removed in our activities and in our mentality from a loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. But today, we are on that path. We're on the road. We may not like where we're at, but when we reflect, and this is the other thing I'm learning to like about Krishna, after I go through all that complaining about what's not happening for me, Krishna lets you know, actually, it's not about you. It's about me. How much are you changing your, directing your devotion to me? Look what I've done for you. And then you can see that Krishna has done so many things, even when you feel as though he's handling us roughly, and or not being present before us. I call your name, but I can't. But he's increasing that desire. Where would I get the desire? So because I keep calling him like that, then my desire becomes stronger. And when he shows up, I realize you were always there. You were there. I couldn't perceive you. Maybe I didn't want you enough. So that encouragement is there in the process of Krishna consciousness. What to speak, how you hear something in class, how you're reading something, and it opens up another aspect of your relationship with Krishna. So japa, although a couple hours, is really our constant companion. We're never alone. That constant companion is really Nam Prabhu. So I want to read another part. But I got to make sure that you can. I have to find a way to get everyone to do more. When if we're going to be successful, I mean, there's so many wonderful devotees, and Mahatma Prabhu, he also has another book out, and he's another one of those chieftains with the holy name. I have to get his latest book. One of my brothers told me that. Um, he's really, really wonderful. What to speak of the fact that Giriraj Swami, who we have from time to time, he's awesome. so sweet with sharing his reflections, his realizations, sharing his experience with the relationship with the holy name. So it's all about what we want. We show up every Saturday. So what do we want? So my point is either roll up your sleeves, get some short sleeves, but let's get busy. Let's do something because my goal is I want to meet the devotees at the temple and I want us to chant, but then I want us to do some service for Lord Jagannath and Radha Shri Bihari, Sri Gornitai. I want to see, oh, it's Japa. Oh, thank you, mother. Thank you. That's his new book. Oh, Mahatma Das is really good. I got to get that book. I remember when I used to go to the Japa workshops. Oh, he was so good, so good. And I remember in the 80s, I used to have a, he's also a musician, and I used to have a tape that he used to do. It's called Our Only Shelter. And it was just music, but some chanting the holy name, but then the chanting would go on. And it was so moving. I'd play it in a restaurant all day long. Krishna is our only shelter. So it's really, really nice. Okay, so now I'm going to read a little more so you can get a little more flavor. Um, but it just, should I just get some drops of nectar? I know one thing, this book is also very heavy. you know, before you know it, you're getting hit over the top of the head about the things we're doing wrong. But Satrupmaj is gentle, so he slips it in. But he says, but of all the instructions of the spiritual master, the chant 16 good rounds daily is the most important instruction of the spiritual master. That is so heavy. So I'm just first giving you some reflections. Uh, for strong chanting, chant louder. That will make you strong. If you extend a little more energy in your chanting and your articulating in your articulation and emphasis, you will more easily capture the rambling mind. If you stay fixed and following Krishna consciousness and chanting at least 16 rounds, then by that full participation in devotional service, we should not become very disturbed. We should not come to the point we were unable to do any devotional service and have to stop all activities and chant all day 64 rounds, etc. But if despite ourselves we come to this point, then such chanting is good. So no, Prabhupada wanted us to chant and then get busy, be engaged. So he didn't want us to just spend the whole day. But Satsruman says, but if that's what happens, still good, you know. Regarding your question, there is no such requirement that japa should be silently, and chanting should be done differently, loudly or silently. Everything is all right. There is no such restriction. Only thing is that we should chant very attentively, hearing the vibration very distinctly. Letter from Srila Prabhupada to Satrupa, March 8th, 1969. Krishna consciousness is dependent on chanting Hare Krishna. If the rounds are good, the consciousness will reflect them. The intelligence will reflect them also. The chanting of Hare Krishna is very important. Japa is an important part of devotional life. If your japa is not up to standard, this is serious. You must reform. That is, out of your regret may come success. Prabhupada used to say, failure is the pillar of success. Access yourself and try to improve your chanting of Hare Krishna. One may question that if the holy name can take away more sins than the devotee can commit, why we still have to suffer sinful reactions. But those sinful reactions are given by Krishna. It is no longer karma. This is There is no question why this is so. If Krishna makes us take some token reaction, that is his mercy, just so that we will actually be purified once and for all. Krishna is all good and just. So whatever he sends the devotee accepts. That does not diminish the power of the holy name. We have to go on chanting the holy name and taking whatever reactions that are there from the Lord. Then we may come to the stage of pure service to the holy name. So I like these reflections because out of our chanting, we should have reflections, and we do. But in order to experience them, in order for them to go deeper, then we have to remain conscious. One, who we are, Jivesh Rupahaya, Krishnari Nijadas. Two, who you're dealing with, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And three, that this is the process to open up my heart and let me experience something sweeter. Let me experience loving Krishna. So I know today I made it simple, I talked, but that's because I want the relationship. You know, Dronacharya Prabhu has a program, you know, called Can We Talk? And this, I guess next week we're dealing with um, race with race issues like that, and within the world and within America. But the conversation is, can we talk? We can talk at any level. That communication is what enables most us to come together. So when you read something really nice in the Gita and the Bhagavatam, wherever you read it, you gently reflect and you tell somebody about it. Can we talk? And when you hear something wonderful in class, when you retain it, you talk about it, you tell somebody. When we chant Hare Krishna, when we do something daily for a couple hours, isn't there anything we want to say about this process? Are we getting anything out of it? So that is the premise that I'm working from today. Can we talk about this process of chanting Hare Krishna? And I know that you want to, share and reflect. I know you're fired up. You can't wait to hit that button to to open up. But I want you to take a moment too to do some reflection. Make sure that you can reflect on chanting the holy name. And we have to feel good enough to share or inquire because I'm finding that just being able to share with you, I have friends. I'm not in this alone anymore. My struggles, my triumphs, I'll tell. Oh, there's certain things I'm not going to tell because certain things are not your business. And the relationship, some things are personal, you know? Krishna doesn't tell everything. Radharani doesn't tell everything. But so we don't tell everything in the relationship, but a lot of the things we can talk about. And to the extent that we talk, then you'll find it helps you and it will help us. So let's, before we do anything else, I'm feeling good today. I hope it's okay. The other thing is I never know what's happening, but I'm just trying. I'm going to get my drum out. Wired. Pretty interesting. I have Krishna right there. If I do too many things, I'm in trouble really quick. Jeev Jango, Jeev Jango, Gora Chandra Bole, Tanija Jai Homaya, Sanchaya, Maya, Jai Ho Maya, Sachiya Kone, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. The holy name is so sweet. We don't just chant it, but we keep chanting it. When we stop fingering our beads, we just start singing out. If there's no musical accompaniment, fine. We just start singing. We want the relationship. We want to stay with Nam Prabhu. We want to experience it. So it's like the Satchidananda Swami says, don't stop doing kirtan, chant and keep glorifying Krishna. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev. Yeah, because Prabhupada's given us the holy name. So, I gave you time. We had time to think, reflect. Now it's your turn.
We do have a question. Ram Kumar Prabhu has a question.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandot Pranam, please accept my humble obeisance. This is for just comment and reflection, Prabhuji, like very well you explained about, like the chanting, japa. So I was going through the Bhagavatam class, in the Bhagavatam lecture, 7th canto, 5th chapter, where, Prahaladji tells, and Srila Prabhupada very well explained about that. So Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Asmaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Mandam, Dasyam, Sakham, Atmanivas. So from there, Kirtanam, that is our chanting. So Prabhupada Maharaj tells in the purport, Prabhuji, like, it is recommended such chanting to be performed very loudly. Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni said that without shame, he began traveling over all worlds. Chanting is the holy name of the Lord. Similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised, Trinadapi Suni Chena Tarorapi Sahisuna Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadari. So Kirtaniya Sadari, keep on chanting. And so in the age of Kali Yuga, like Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Kevalam Kalo Naste Naste Gati Anyatha. So only the chanting that can be success our life. So, and regarding Nam Aparad, Prabhuji, you were saying Nam Aparad. So yes, in the beginning we do that many offenses, so many offenses. In daily basis, we read through 10 offenses. And we also commit that, but to improve that and to be pure in that and to be offenseless chanting. So once we will do that chanting, that chanting itself make us offenseless. So this is very nice learning, Prabhuji, from your session today. So it's a wonderful. So to me, practically, I will keep chanting as I do that. So my practice is to do maximum of chanting my sadhana is to maximum of chanting in the morning time, approx 5:30 to 6:30. I try to finish my chanting at least 12 rounds.
Mhm.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
This is really sweet. I love your absorption. You know, your detailed understanding and explanations. The with all the things you're saying are naturally true. The thing is that the chanting needs to become personal. It it's like I don't know. Do you have a family?
Yeah, Prabhuji. I have my wife, two kids, Mukund and Kanchan. They used to come in the temple for the kirtan, and they enjoy daily kirtan at our house. We have our deity Radha Syam Sundar, so we do kirtan at our house also.
So you know that you have to spend personal time with your family. You know what it's like to have personal time. And the personal time can't be mechanical. It can't be just because this is the time we spend together. You invest your feelings, you invest your intelligence. That time is time well spent because it's time to develop the relationship, be it with your wife or be it with the children. So japa is our time to invest in a relationship with Krishna because we japa is so interesting. It's our duty, but it goes much further than that. It is the instruction of the spiritual master to chant these 16 rounds. But then how am I chanting them? To chant them to to chant them consciously, aware of the fact that I'm a part of a broken relationship. You know, just again, as I say, to have been in a relationship and to be the cause of that relationship being broken. Because Krishna, he doesn't give up on us. He's constantly coming. He's constantly sending someone. So to be a part of a broken relationship and to know that I've got the opportunity now to get this relationship back, I'm really going to put my heart in this relationship. I'm going to be conscious. I'm going to be careful that I'm doing all the right things. And with Nam Prabhu, we need to be conscious that this is the relationship. Everything else that we want to know about Krishna is going to become manifest. But right now, we have to convince Krishna that this time we're sincere, that we really want the relationship. And so that's the mood of chanting, that we're just sincere. Even a prayer that I love so much, I find it hard to tell Krishna that when, and I keep adjusting it, but I tell Krishna, I've forgotten you, and I've abandoned you so long in the material world, but today I'm trying to surrender unto you, and I want to be your sincere and serious servant. I mean that. I want to be, and I'm not, you know, I'm not, but I really want to be. So I tell him, and to the extent that we invest ourselves, our heart in that japa, Krishna sees it, and then he helps. Because ultimately, nothing happens without the empowerment of Krishna. But Krishna wants to know that this time I'm not whining. It's not that something's hurt me and I need something. No, this time I want you. So I love the practices that you're doing are wonderful. Um, just keep doing your practice and keep opening your heart. And just as you're sharing with me today, there must be somebody on this call, on this Zoom, that you have a relationship that you can also share with that person. You know, when Krishna says much chita, much chita, so Machita, Machita
Machitamadgata
Prana. I kept
Udayantaha
saying, I kept
Parastapa
hearing Salvador Ghani.
Athayantaskam Amnityam Tusyanti cha Ramanti cha.
That's exactly what we want. Krishna says it. The thoughts of his superior devotees dwell in him. Our lives are fully surrendered to his service. I love hearing you chant too. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss by always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So Krishna wants to hear that, and we become enlightened and enlivened. So maybe you can help share, do that. Make sure that you're reaching out to someone, that the conversation is going about the process and specifically about the chanting of the holy name. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, we have
Okay, let's
Galokananda
go.
Priya. Oh, I was going to say Galokananda Priya had her hand up for a comment question.
Yeah. Prabhu, I'm very happy you read in the Japa Reform. I remember me too back in the 80s. I used to read that all the time whenever I feel like I need more inspiration how to chant my Japa nicely. And also, I have remembered also in one of the home program, there was a couple, the Prabhu is initiated, the wife is not initiated, but she will render so much service to all the devotees that visited, but she never chant her round. One instruction that Bhakti Charu Maharaj gave to her, he said, I know you're very busy all day. Please just take half an hour, go in your room and close the door and give it to Krishna and chant your round. So that one instruction always take my mind. Whenever I chant, I say, this is the time for Krishna. So I don't have to be distracted. I have to try my best just to chant and don't get distracted by many other things. That one realization I have. And whenever I
Thank you.
have
Thank you.
difficulty in chanting, I always remember the instruction like you're giving and different devotee. Like the other day I was chanting, like Ramabhadra Prabhu said, when you chant, you have to say you're just with Nam Prabhu and Krishna is dancing on your tongue. So all the instruction by reminding me again and again, that really helped me with my chanting. That one I want to share.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I have some
Hare Krishna, Mother.
reflections, whatever I say, but about chanting and then distraction and everything. I want to talk about my own feelings. Sometimes, I feel when I was doing as monkey, mind is a monkey, and it goes there and here and there. So I want to bring it back. So what I do is, I think of Lord Krishna and deities, how his flute and how his lotus feet, what his childhood pastimes. I want to bring it back to my mind again, to that consciousness while I'm chanting. And another thing is I have a Gomata picture. So I just try to do parikrama plus adding to that my chanting. That is one more thing I enjoy like that. And then another thing is, while chanting, I love music. So my Hare Krishna jap, I change into different tunes and I try to play with the tunes and singing the same japa. I want to do it like that. So I enjoy that play with the Krishna. So I don't know whether I'm doing right or not, but that is my experience.
It's fine, Mother. You're in a relationship. The recipient of your affection is the one that lets you know you're fine. If we some days when we chant good japa, if I go to Vrindavan, or sometimes even here, I get lost in the holy name. And that's not often, okay? Because I don't want the last thing I want to send is the wrong message that it's working for me on a high level. But it's working for me in the sense that I don't want to do anything different. I want to do it. I'm just passionate. But the nicest thing is when the job is good, when the job is early. If I am up at 3:30 and I
Yeah.
read for an hour, if I read for an hour and a half, and then I start to chant. Sometimes when I chant, then the chanting, I'm ready to sing. I start singing. you know, and I just started singing to Krishna because the holy name is so sweet, it carries you. And it's Krishna. Krishna's so full of taste. So sometimes it just goes to that, you're chanting, you're calling him, and then you just start singing to him. It's the same Nam Prabhu. But that's becoming absorbed. We just get absorbed. And it doesn't make us a high, because we know we're not high, but it shows that Krishna is reciprocating. So I only tell the things that work because I'm always whining about the things that don't work. But this is our gold. Our gold is to become lovers of God. I wish I could tell you that I was that my relationship is satisfying. I wish I could say that. It's not. um, but I do have faith that one day it will be. I told one of my superiors, I think if I ever can become Krishna conscious, it's going to be from Nam Prabhu. As much as I love going through the Gita and hearing others, I think that Nam Prabhu is what's really going to save me, what's really going to enable me to become one of Prabhupada's men engaged in the service of Krishna. So anyway, let's see. Wish me luck, okay?
Like you said, morning 4:30, I woke up and I do certain rounds only, not all 16 rounds, but certain rounds I finish half of them at that time. It will be very peaceful to do that. That is the best time, early morning. And then later on, we get into all kinds of things in our daily routine, whether we have everything to do or not. I am not that much doing in family things now, but still, mind is mind only. So that's why the early morning time, it is very peaceful, and I can think of Krishna and concentrate, and I do chanting. That's how I love it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Mother.
this is the picture I was showing, Prabhu, the Gomata. All the God and Goddess are there. So I just do parikrama and then I do my chanting. Both I want to do it at the same time. So that's why my mind is like that, whether I'm doing right or not.
You're okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I have something that I want.
Haryasva.
Who's that?
Hi.
Dronacharya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Where are you?
Where am I? Am I?
Yeah,
I'm doing.
No.
I'm in the middle
I
of doing a
I
couple
don't see
things.
you.
I'm in my place getting ready
okay.
to leave in just a minute.
No,
I have
good.
to leave.
Talk, Drona.
But anyway, two things that really that caught me today. First is the example. I guess I want to just say an appreciation and glorification of His Holiness Satsvarup Maharaj. He took a situation where somebody much more, junior to him, and he took the advice, or he took that as a message from Krishna, that somebody who's just a bhakta, just starting out, is instructing a sannyasi, could have very easily been brushed off, blown off, but he took that to heart, and as a result, a huge transformation in his life took place, and he was able to articulate that transformation, and it helped so many devotees. And I reflecting on that example, that a lot of times we just reject people's advice, a lot of times out of ego, a lot of times and a lot of times even senior devotees, with to speak of a bhakta just coming in. Just goes to show we can learn from really anybody. And if we take that opportunity to learn, that there's so many opportunities to grow, and Krishna's mercy can shine through those instructions. So for him to do that, was quite showed immense humility on his part, and the desire to you know, always want to grow to Krishna. I guess that's one thing. The other thing I wanted to say was that you're getting a lot out of these books, and we can tell that. I can certainly tell that. I wanted to just throw this out there as an idea, because sometimes I feel like I'm just sitting there listening to you talk about a book. Others may feel this way too. It may be helpful if we collectively decide that we want to start studying a book, one of these books, and go through it during the Saturday time. I don't know how to necessarily make that decision. Maybe just put it in people's head. But if we would go through the Japa Reform Notebook, something manageable, not 100 pages a week, but you know, a chapter or 2 chapters or something that we'd be able to talk about along with you, because I feel like you're holding all the nectar and you're sharing those drops of nectar, but at least for me, I'm not immersing myself in that. Anyway, they were my 2 things. Hare Krishna.
Well, you are the answer to my prayer. You heard me. I so thank you. This is exactly what I thought. And today I thought, I'm sitting here looking at page 21. And I said, how do I get the devotees to read so that together we can? That's why I asked the question earlier, as you had these other books. I have enough job. First of all, you may be able to go online and pull up under, I can find out. I think this book is online, Japa Reform Notebook. And if not, I have Japa Reform Notebooks, but you should see if you can get it online. But I want us to read this book together, because there would be such sharing. You see, if we're going to accomplish something different, and that is the yearning of my heart. I don't want to sit here and just talk like I know something. I don't. I want us to talk about the process that has been described and how we're applying this process, you know, in our own daily lives. So, keeping in line with what Dronacharya said, if you could, first of all, Mother Vrindavaneshwari, I tell you, Mother Vrindavaneshwari is so dear to me, you know, because I don't even have to tell her things anymore. She just automatically, she knows that I'm pathetic, and she's always trying to help me. And Krishna sent her to help me, you know, like a mother. You know, I'm a product of a mother's love, and I'm getting Mother Vrindavaneshwari's love, you know, and her husband's giving as much love as he can. He's just not as good as getting it to me as she is. So anyway, thank you, Mother Vrindavaneshwari. And if we could go to that site and pull down the Japa Reform Notebook, and I would like you to read, you know, get the introduction, get a feel of it. And you got the whole week to go through this, because it's a party next weekend. It's you know, Independence Day, and it's on a Saturday, so you may have to go out, but at least in the morning we could read. Now I know that I'm gonna go from 21. I don't know, it just keeps going. So if you can read to about page 30, from the beginning up to page 30 or 40, then we'll have so much to talk about, because I'm reading it too and I'm studying it. So as you pull out different points, and it will help you reflect on, the whole point isn't just to get information. The point is to become inspired to bring about change in our own lives. And then the other books, if you want to go further, but let's start with the fact that this is a Japa Reform Notebook. We want to reform the way we're chanting. And all the others, we want to be able to chant with feeling. We want to acknowledge that Krishna is his name, that he is alive. We want to chant, you know, the living name, you know, not broken names. And Borijan's Japa is just so wonderful because it helps us navigate by using those keys. Even as you find that you go through the Japa Reform Notebook, the keys are going to come into your mind. So everything begins to work. Okay. Drona, thank you again. I thought that was really good. So let me get some of the, what do y'all think about that?
I think it's a great idea. I love it. I put a link in the chat for anyone that didn't see it. The second link is a free PDF download. So you don't have to buy it, just download the PDF and you can read it on your computer. So
Thank you very much.
Oh, Vrindavan, can you send the link
the link is in the chat.
in the chat? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Ram?
Maybe we can email that out too, just for the people that can't grab it. We'll find a way to email
if
it out.
you have any problem, I have some paperback books. Ram Kumar, I hope you're able to download it because I think it'll help. I think that'll give us conversation. I think you'll help me. You'll push me,
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah.
All right, mother. All right. Where are we now? Now, can we just chant one round of japa? Can we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're ready.
Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shri Vasili, Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Come on, let's invest all that we've talked about this morning. Let's call out with feeling, understanding that the relationship became broken because we broke the relationship. We're trying to convince Krishna that we want to have this relationship. Even if it's already reestablished, we want this relationship to become loving and deeper. You want him to purify us, but we're begging that he use us. Maya is always moving us around. Let's beg Krishna to use us. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare Rama,
Krishna
Hare Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
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 Ram,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare.
Ram Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama, Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram, Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
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 Ram, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
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 Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
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 Krishna.
Rama.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare Ram
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Ram.
Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Ram.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram
Ram Ram,
Ram.
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare Ram Hare Ram.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Krishna.
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare 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 Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram, Hare
Ram
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Ram Ram,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hari Hare Ram Ram Hare
Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram
Krishna Krishna Hari Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hari Hare
Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hari Hare Hare Krishna
Hare Hare Ram Hare
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 Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram Hari
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Ram Hare
Hare Ram
Ram
Hare Ram
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hari
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna Hare Krishna
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna Rama Rama Hare
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Rama
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
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 Ram Ram Ram
Rama
Ram Ram
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram
Rama
Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Hare Rama Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram Ram Ram
Rama
Ram Hare
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama Rama
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Rama
Ram Hare
Rama
Ram Ram Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare So, Prabhu, so thank you all so very much. So let's remember, this is the beginning of a relationship. Our relationship in trying to serve the holy name individually is what we must do. But when we come together collectively, it's Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan party. I see the party becoming strong. It's the Sankirtan party. So we're going to read as much as we can and be ready to share. Um, we really want to be able to talk about the process, our triumphs, uh, and if we get to the point that we can read and we come prepared, it's like if you're studying Bhagavad Gita but you already read, then you can really get into the heart of the Gita. So if we read ahead of time, then when we come to have a Japa discussion, we get into the heart of what works and what we found and what we can apply. So many wonderful things. And remember, this is an extension from Drona. Can we talk? Can we talk about the relationship with Nam Prabhu? Wonderful. Thank you so very much. Hare Krishna. Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, wonderful class, Prabhu.
Couple quick announcements.
Thank
Couple
you.
quick announcements, real quick. Thank you all for coming today. Haryasva Prabhu will be speaking along with Ballabhadra on Monday evening at 7:30. So please tune in for that. The discussion will just be the when, you know, the different racial barriers that exist within the world, and also sometimes creep into our spiritual society, and how as devotees we feel about that. So please, if you're interested, please tune in for that at 7:30 Monday night. Tomorrow morning, Kaivalya Prabhu will be giving Srimad Bhagavatam class 7:30 at 7:50. Also
Hare
tomorrow,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I thought my husband was. Is that
Yes,
is never
it's,
included?
yes,
Oh,
Acharya
but-
Prabhu will be giving class today. I just, yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right, my mistake. Anyway, we have Srimad Bhagavatam class tomorrow. Acharya Prabhu will be speaking. So please tune in for that,
Whoa.
7:50 tomorrow. Thank you for the correction there. Also tomorrow evening for the for our Sunday feast program, we're going to be having Go Puja from Gita Nagari. Part of our farm to city initiative of supporting Gita Nagari, and also the initiative of trying to take part in cow protection and take milk only from milk that has come from cows that are protected. We were able to sponsor 3 cows at Gita Nagari that are going to be used only for producing milk for the deities and devotees of Philadelphia. So they had to go out and buy 3 new cows for us. And then part of that, there's like a inauguration ceremony for those cows, where the cows, they do a Go Puja, and also the sponsors get a chance to give a name for those cows, a spiritual name to the cows. So that is that's coming up tomorrow night. So we're only going to be doing 1 cow at a time, because it takes about an hour to do. So we want to at least do the first cow tomorrow, and then the other ones will be done at different times throughout the week. So anyway,
What time is that?
it'll be at 5:30, right after the Sunday feast lecture. Okay, Haryasva Prabhu, would you please lead us in a prayer to Krishna for His Holiness Bhakti Chu Maharaj? We know that his situation is still critical with his health. We know that he's contracted the COVID virus, and we want to, we've been praying for him every day. Would you please lead us today?
Hari Prabhu, we seem to have lost your video and microphone.
I remember when I first, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Met His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami in the 80s. He would come and sit on the cushion with the Agrani Swami, and Agrani would give class, and Bhakti Charu Swami would come sit right on the same cushion with him, and they would speak. And I just hearing from him and seeing him, I finally told him what I thought. And I always tell him, I said, Maharaj, when I read Prabhupada said, when a woman asked Prabhupada, what a devotee would be like, Prabhupada said, oh, he would be the perfect gentleman. And I told Bhakti Charu Swami, I said, when I met you, I thought, oh, he's what Prabhupada said a devotee would be. He's such a perfect gentleman. So I have a deep affection for him, and I'm praying like anything, the same prayer that we prayed for Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord Krishna, if you so desire, please allow Srila Bhakti Charu Swami to improve and stay with us. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare. Thank you, Haryasva Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Vanchakalpatarubhishya, Kripasindhuvescha,
Vaishnavi Namo Namaha.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Hari Bol. Have a nice day.
Very well.
Hari Bol, which page should we read for the Japa reform? Can you please repeat it?
You
I
go
didn't
all
get it.
the way to, from the introduction, go all the way to page 40 or 50. Just keep reading. Read as much as you can, but I'm going to go back to Mandaleshwar. I'm going to go start on page 21 next week. And I'm going to go and discuss what's going on there for about 10 pages. So
Okay.
Well, tell, we need to know exactly, because that'll help us set a goal for ourselves. If we know,
I'd like you to go to at least to page 40. Go to page 40.
Okay.
Read from the beginning to page 40. You can read a few pages a day and you'll be fine because it's simple. But if you get the introduction in, you understand the purpose of the book and what we're trying to accomplish. And then if you read on, then you'll get the feel of the book, how it's going. And it's going to change so much. But that's why I went that you read that far, up to 40 at least. And then the more you've read, the more we can discuss.
Thank you.
Brindavneswari Mataji, will you send the link, please?
It's in the chat, and yes. So if you want to grab it out of the chat, and also I can put it in the ISKCON Philadelphia WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vrindavan. You always
Hare
connect
Krishna,
us.
I do my best. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Haribo. Thank you. Dronacharya
Thank you.
Prabhu also.
Hare Krishna.